Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Ford Spalding, Chair of the FS1 Steering Committee. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, amended on March 28, 2025, Governor Maura Healey signed into law an act extending pandemic-related authorizations related to public meetings, allowing remote meetings options for public bodies through June 30, 2027. Today is March 23, 2026. The FS1 Screening Committee will be conducted both in person and via remote participation by the committee. The chair grants permission to Allison McCarthy to record the meeting, and anyone else who wishes to do so, please identify themselves with your name and address. Thank you. Member roll call. Jody Petroselli is not here today. Ken Ayers? Here. Peter Bean?
Maybe. Peter, is that you?
Peter, you on?
I'm here.
Thank you. Sarah Cantley?
Here.
John Cummings?
Here.
Harry Davis?
Here.
Paul DeLay?
Here.
And I am Ford Spalding. With us today, we have Nora Lockman.
Nothing.
And I think that's all the town officials. Am I
Yeah.
missing anybody?
Molly.
Yeah.
And Molly Fitzpatrick. Never miss Molly.
You have Mike Perkins online too.
First item is the public and press comments. The select board has updated the policy related to this subject, and it is on the town website. In accordance with that policy, we will allow 3 minutes for public comments. I will allow for the committee members or staff, if appropriate, to briefly respond. This is not a time for discussion. We will allow 15 minutes total for this agenda item. And is anybody making here the public comment?
I have a question.
Yeah, please identify yourself.
Elaine DeRayno, 221 Hartford Street. There was mention of a community poll a couple meetings ago to get the temperature of where the residents feel or the direction of this project should go. Has that been created and distributed, or is it still in process?
I'm not aware of it.
We talked about perhaps putting a poll out to see, I mentioned that maybe Westwood Media Center had the capability of doing that. It was,
We did discuss it because I remember that
Yes.
was something that I brought up.
Okay.
Yeah.
right, I was wondering if that
We haven't,
was.
we haven't put it together.
Oh, okay. Thank
We
you.
haven't done anything, but we'll consider it. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Anyone else? Anybody online?
So I'm sorry, I'm new to this, so if I'm being redundant or off base.
Just say your name and address.
Oh, Anne Marie Sakala, 39 Deerfield Ave. So I have concerns about this fire station going near Deerfield because we have had an influx of small children move into the neighborhood. So it is a safety concern for these children. I know that, and all due respect to the police officers that have to get from point A to point B in a rush, but many times by my house, I will see them whizzing right by. And so anything, any more traffic with even bigger vehicles or a sense of urgency, I think would put the whole, all the children at risk that live in that neighborhood.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody online? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, Alice Poirier Smith, 78 Gay Street. I just want to make the point that I've been tuning into a little bit of this. I'm just getting involved in it, but I think it's really important that the town maintain. First of all, the town has voted down this project twice, and I really believe that the site where the current fire station is located is the ideal spot to rebuild. I think what needs to happen, and I think what the town disapproved of, was the scale of the plan. And I believe that if we redesigned it to fit the site, and the fire chief, well, this is hearsay, but the fire chief, from what I understand, is has indicated that he can live with 4 bays. And I think if we redesign the project the town might accept it, and go forward with it. But size of the project for the lot. And we have easy access to High Street. The location is perfect. You don't have to take other houses. You don't have to take land that's wooded that other residents have raised concerns about. And it's the perfect location. Just fit the design to the lot that we have available. And you avoid so many issues in so many different neighborhoods. So that's my comment.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Jane Feeney, 30 Russell Ave. To piggyback on what Alice says, why haven't you as a committee or the town looked at redesigning the current fire station? Instead of trying to submit the same plans twice, why haven't you looked to redesign it based on residents' comments? You're ignoring the residents. The town is ignoring what the residents are saying. Okay, it will fit most of the pragmatic needs. Most of them can be met on a smaller scale. Why? This has never been addressed. Why? We don't need any more feasibility studies. We have them. We have them. They're not that old. We're wasting town funds. That $320,000 could be put into a design for a new fire station. And you wouldn't have all these issues that you have now. You don't have any trust in the town. This committee does not. The select board does not. You need to gain the residents' trust back. So.
Thank you. We're following what the select board asked us to do. And that's
Yes, I'm just saying, if you ask my opinion, this is my opinion.
Thank you.
One other comment, if I may. The cost of using the same site would be substantially less with a redesigned project that was somewhat scaled down to fit the lot. And I think that the taxpayers, I've been seeing my taxes go up, and to put it to the town for an override of Proposition 2.5 is just has to be part of the decision that was made to reject the project. And if we redesign it to fit the lot, I think you can also reduce the cost to the taxpayers for going forward with this project. And I think that would garner significant support.
Thank you. Any other comments? Anyone online? If not, we'll move on to the chair's update. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 149, Section 44A and a half, for procurement for owner's project management services, Westwood Procurement Manager Michelle Miller has started that process, all in accordance with the FS1 project and in preparation for a positive vote at the May 4 town meeting. This is a well-defined contractual process serving the procurement of a OPM for this project. We've received suggestions for additional sites that should be considered: 100 Louderbrook Road and 548 High Street. We also received an email suggesting for future growth, Folsom's Funeral Home and the possibility of changing the topography to the advantage of 637 High Street. I will ask the staff, if you would, to comment on these.
So we received two emails, one about 548 High Street, one about 100. So 548, this is a parcel so you're looking at Town Hall across Westwood Glen, not that property, but the property next door. In summary, it's too small. It's about 0.8 acres, I believe, 0.89.
Yeah.
So to make that site viable, the town would likely need to acquire adjacent property. There's 3 other parcels in that area. They all present different challenges. They're also quite small, and one of them lacks any high street frontage. So in addition, for the existing structure at 548, it would be subject to review of the Westwood Historical Commission, which could result in a demolition delay of up to 6 months. So while appealing to have a municipal campus near Town Hall, the significant uncertainties mostly surrounding acquiring additional property. 100 High Street is the Dental Arts property. It is larger. It's almost a little under 2 acres and could potentially accommodate a fire station. also has several notable challenges. The site has significant grading issues, just like our current site. Drainage easement bisects the property, and it's located on the northern edge of town, approximately 1.7 miles from the sweet spot identified as St. Margaret Mary's Church. So from an operational standpoint, this is not an ideal situation because it would negatively impact response time. It's about approximately 2.25 miles from Highland Glen, which is a high frequency area, compared to the 1.05 miles of the current station. So the conclusion of that, while both are interesting possibilities, the significant constraints posed by both of them make it not viable at this time. We continue to talk, and this goes to the Folsom property. The Folsoms have been reached out to many times. They're not interested in selling to the land, selling to the town at this point. Happy to reach out to the neighbors around 548, but I have not heard any interest that they were interested in selling as well.
Thank you. Any questions? Moving on to new business. Number one is the site evaluation matrix, results and committee discussion. This continues our evaluation of sites for FS1. Our evaluation can only be finally completed with a town meeting yes vote for a feasibility study and schematic design for each property on May 4. So Molly, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you.
Sure. So thank you all for getting these to me. We're going to go through sort of option by option, and I've taken all of the results that were sent to me, and I will highlight areas of differences. A couple of people sent me narrative along with the numbering, so feel free to jump in on any particular site. So option one is one that we've talked about before and already voted on, which is the rebuild at FS1, the existing site. Of the responses that came back to me, nobody had anything different that we moved forward, so I'm going to suggest we move on from that. Where did that one go? I cannot at this moment, but it will go on the website.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's okay.
All right, moving on to the first one to have a conversation about is the renovation of the existing site. So for the most part, it had fives for direct access to High Street, would require town meeting approval for the purchase of properties. And then this sort of came up in a different places. It's which lines are we holding on and which ones are we voting on? So for the first site that we did, we decided not to put a rating for the total cost of the town, time to completion, and lot restriction, wetlands, or other issues. I think for consistency, it would make sense to continue to hold on those. If there are other items that we think need to be held for other sites, we can always do that. But so fives for properties direct access to High Street would require town meeting approval for purchase or property because it would not. We're going to hold on total cost of the town. For the most part, ability to accommodate frontline apparatus, people voted as a 1. And I would say if anybody disagrees with my assessment of this, just jump in. Ability to meet programmatic needs across the board is a 1. Ability to house a maintenance bay across the board is a 1. Would require temporary fire station across the board is a 1. So this one was a little all over the place. I think this warrants a bit of discussion. Project would require building variances. Some people have 1s and some people have 5s. I would say if we're renovating the existing fire stations, there would be a potential for variances. So anybody have additional thoughts on that?
I sort of had it at 3. It's sort of in between because we don't know if it is, but it could.
And we have to come up with, like, for the this is the one where I'm not sure what number to put here. I know for the other ones how to rate it, but
So what do we think?
I guess there's a little gray area there. So if we're talking,
unknown, right?
yeah. So we're talking about. I guess this kind of speaks to the whole challenge when you say renovating. Aren't we so often being able to renovate to get to like current design standards that we're essentially just talking about redesigning the whole thing anyway?
Yes, because in order, there's, Mike is listening, I'm channeling my building commission. If you put a certain dollar amount into the building, you have to bring it all the way up to code. And the dollar amount threshold for this building is probably in the 400,000, which is gonna go like that when you're renovating it. So you have to bring it up to code for things like, accessibility. It doesn't have a sprinkler system, so would become a big renovation project.
My experience with this kind of a building that is in such disrepair and now it's sort of condemned, at least for the vehicles. Renovation is more expensive. When we've done renovation before, quite frankly, it just added to, the cost substantially. That's where the cost is. Building new is generally less expensive. When you're doing this kind of a total renovation.
You never know what you're gonna find once you start renovating in that building.
There's asbestos you can find inside the seams of boilers, asbestos in the window frames. It's a lot.
So, I mean, we could just put a hold on it. We could say that it's just an unknown at this point, what variances would be required.
Well, you did
promote Mike?
I did.
Paul, did you say something?
Yeah, is there somebody?
I mean,
Oh, Mike.
Mike?
Mike Perkins.
I'm sure he's more.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not in there with you guys, but yeah, to echo Molly's sentiment, once you start putting money into a building, and it has to do with both the dollar figure and also the square footage of the building. Once you trip a certain percentage, you're talking accessibility, fire alarm, fire sprinkler work. You're talking energy efficiency stuff. I mean, this building itself, you would need to, you'd basically have to gut it down to studs, or down to exterior walls, and just have a shell, and then you have to bring it all the way back up to current code. So that means elevator, that means having accessible restrooms on each floor. That would mean changing out all the mechanical systems, things like that. And also just from a building and NFPA fire standards, the 3 zones that we talk about as far as the hot, cold, warm zones for contaminants, you would have to find a way to do that in that existing structure footprint. So it does present some unique challenges, but yes, definitely added cost and headache if you're trying to add on to that existing building or renovate that existing building.
Mike, this is Harry Davis. Wouldn't HERS rating come into play as well?
No, not for this. That's just for residential only. That's only for multifamily or single family housing. But there are substantial standards that have to be met as far as energy code requirements for the commercial structures themselves. It's along the same lines as, insulation requirements. You've got certain lighting requirements. You've got HVAC system efficiencies, things like that. So the big thing that comes into play on a building like this is just the fact that the structure itself is not what we call tight. It's drafty and leaky all over the place. So you're basically going to have to reseal the entire structure almost at that point.
Because since there's so many unknowns to keep putting a hold on.
And I have a new question. That also includes would have to upgrade the fire code for the safety of the firefighters.
Yes.
Correct.
It's not big enough to do anything. You can't.
Okay.
All right, response time from the property. This was split pretty evenly between a 4 and a 5. I would say because it's a renovation at the existing site, because we did a 4 for a rebuild at the existing site, I think 4 is probably the better number.
Yeah.
Lot size is adequate to accommodate drive-through bays, universally 1. We're holding on time to completion and lot restriction. Lot restriction for topography across the board 1. And then for the potential traffic disruption, pedestrian 5 across the board. Potential traffic disruption for vehicles 5 across the board. Access to existing utilities in place 5 across the board. Impact on town fields 5 across the board. And impact on recreation and open space 5 across the board.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on renovations? Awesome.
Is there anything on the renovation that we can rely on the previous plans? I mean, it's the same footprint. So when we talk about variances and things like that, assuming that something was okay for the last plan that went through, that was voted on, is there anything like that that carries over?
So the last plan required 7 variances, right?
Yeah.
But it's so to hear some of the public comment, it would be a different building going on it. So it would be a smaller building, might require less variances. We can definitely use, like, the facilities part of this has been done, the feasibility. You can put a fire station there. What the funding at town meeting would be looking at specifically for the existing site would be redoing the schematic design of, all right, let's take the feasibility that we already have and design something else on this site.
I'm just thinking conceptually, if we assume that a lot of these things we applied for variances, we got the variances last time, can we assume that that's gonna happen this time, or is that going, but that's step too far?
I would never bank on assuming
Yeah.
anything.
Can I ask a follow-up question? Because I think this is pretty key, and this addresses some of the concerns that have been raised by the residents. So am I understanding correctly that so we already have feasibility for the existing site, obviously. So the schematic, would that cover essentially the question of, like, why can't we just make it smaller? That's essentially
Yeah.
the answer that
Yeah.
several residents have asked.
Right.
Okay.
We'd be doing schematic design for that site.
Okay. So it's basically inside, like, well, you can make it smaller and still meet the pragmatic needs.
Yes.
Or it would be thought of as
Yes.
well.
The small is sort of a redesign, you know,
Yeah.
because it affects more than the base, it affects what's above it and around it.
Can I just have one, how big is the communications system that's on the current site? Isn't there like I don't know, is there some sort of whatever. it's called, yeah.
It's a room that's 12 by 12. Give or
So
take.
that's, you can't capture anything with that, like, if you were to relocate that, that's not gonna help us on the overall project.
I have a memo, and I'm happy to circulate it around, that I did last year that says, you know, this is what the INET is, and this is how much space it takes up at the current station versus into the proposed station at that time. And then it also laid out cost estimates of what if we moved it to the police station?
Yeah,
What if we
that's what I
built
was thinking, like,
So,
would we
I'm
gain
happy to circulate
anything?
it.
Yeah, it'd be worth having to see that.
Yeah.
You reminded me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alice.
Well, I can just do it right now.
We are involved in something else.
Yes.
It's on there. Station.
It was there, yeah. That question came up at FinCom 2 weeks ago, and so I'll look at it. All right, moving to Town Hall. Property has direct access to High Street, was 5. Would require town meeting approval for purchase of properties. This would not. Well,
It's a reuse of it.
but where would you put Town Hall?
Well, you're gonna have to figure that in. I think when you look at the cost of tearing that down in town hall and moving it, that's just gonna add to the cost of the total
But
project.
if you're filing that line, would require town meeting approval for purchase of properties. I'm not sure.
It could,
Would it-
depending on where you put it. I mean,
So,
there's an obvious place to put it, but, you know.
It's a complete unknown.
I would recommend a hold on that one. Where would we put Town Hall?
Okay.
So on that, I'm having coffee with a resident that reached out to me this week who had this idea, but I think it's important to highlight the very first comment that came to this. Maybe I'm simplifying this, but given some concerns across the town of overall cost, right? By pursuing the town hall option, we'd essentially knock down town hall to build the firehouse, and then be turning to the town and be like, oh, we've just created a need to now build a $70 million town hall.
Mhm.
Is the second question though, is that already on the long-term plan?
The feasibility, the Durham Whittier Master Facility Study,
Yeah.
which is also on the website, identified all of the problems with all of the town and school buildings. The worst ones being Fire Station 1, the White House at DPW, Town Hall, Laura. It'll come to me and I will remember them. The town hall is mostly accessibility issues, and so it doesn't have an elevator.
So how far off are we from addressing town hall?
I
It's like
would-
2 years, 5 years?
It's 8 years.
Because the biggest issue is inclusive.
Yeah, and then that's just the town building. So you have Thurston, Sheehan, and
Is the lot size big enough?
No.
No.
That's
So
one
the-
of my commentaries on this one. I kind of propose we take it off.
Hmm.
It
Well-
doesn't seem like like we can fill out this matrix and when you're looking at some of these criteria, it doesn't take into account the fact that there are these big red flags that make it basically not.
What the matrix is missing also is the size of the lot. Right?
And what did this lot come out to?
So, the parking area, someone had mentioned, that's a quarter acre, not big. The property of the town, the property in front of the town hall and the police station is approximately, the grassy area is 3/4 of an acre. The police station takes out almost an acre, 0.9 acres. If you get rid of the town hall and use all the space in front of the town hall, and the town hall, that's just under 3/4 of an acre. The entire lot, including the full police station and the town hall, all the grounds in front of it and behind it, including the parking area, is 2.1 acres. So, I mean, it's quite literally too small unless we're gonna rip down the police station and the town hall. And then reconfigure to put all three buildings somehow into that 2.1 acres, which would be extremely tight and not really feasible.
Remember, these choices we had were all the ones that were on the October 5.
Right, no, I mean,
last year's meeting that the select board held with the community. That's where they all came from.
Oh, no, I was there, and but we're missing on the matrix the size of the
Yeah,
lots.
I'm gonna add a row. That's,
I think that's a good ad.
going town hall. So then we're holding on would require additional properties because you just don't know where we would put town hall. We're holding on the cost. Ability to accommodate frontline apparatus. This was kind of all over the place. Some people holding it, mostly giving it a 3. I think to your point of the timing, the condenses of the size
Yeah.
would make it, I don't think you could go much higher.
I mean, I think it needed a lot further study if we're gonna do that. And that's why I put hold. It just,
But you'd have to be unbelievably creative because you're gonna block off the police station and you're gonna block off the town hall if you're gonna use 3/4 of an acre. And that's just not enough to put a 2-story building, never mind a 3-story. If we meet the requirements that the fire department needs to service the town hall.
and you're gonna have to take the police station and reconfigure the front of the police station.
Yeah, people aren't gonna be able to walk up to it.
John, does that take into account the Legion?
No, that's a separate property altogether, but that's not that big either. That has a lot of wetlands issue.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure how to get the acreage of that. But the actual, I can pull it up. I should have. The acreage of. It's really. There's American Legion, just on the property lines. Now notice that some of this property line interferes with wetlands. That is 0.9 acres in total. And some of that is unusable because of wetlands. So I don't know where that delineation is.
Okay,
So what are we putting for ability? Do we hold
One.
one? One.
Yep.
Ability, same argument here, ability to meet programmatic needs for training space. I think it's the same argument we just had.
it's the same, exactly.
Ability to house a maintenance bay. I think that's the same argument we just had. Would require off-site temporary fire operations. It seems to be a universal 5 because it would not. Project would require building variances. This is usually at a 2 or a 3. And I would went back to Mike Perkins's comment that until you have a project design, you really don't know. So I would say we just don't know with the variances. Response time from the property falls within the strike zone. Looks like it's a universal 4. Lot size adequate to accommodate drive-through days. I think that goes back to our original conversation. It's a very condensed site. We're holding on time. we're holding on lot restriction, wetlands, lot restriction, topography. Seems to be a 4 around, a pretty flat site.
Yeah, it's flat.
Potential traffic disruptions for pedestrians, looks like a 5. Potential traffic for vehicles, looks like a 5. Access to existing utilities is a 5. Impact on town fields is a 5. And impact on recreation and open space is a 5. Any other thoughts?
Any other questions on that?
Moving on. This is gonna be very much the same. The parking lot at PD and Town Hall. So the first one we were talking about was tearing down Town Hall itself. Parking lot at PD and Town Hall was added on after the, this was not one of the options at the public forum, but I would say it's exact, the rating wise, it would be exactly.
I think it's pretty much the same.
So I'm not gonna go through all that. Deerfield property, of the responses sent to me, none were different than how it was rated before, so leave Deerfield alone for now. All right, now, and these are two that are similar as well. This is gonna be the combined fire station and DPW behind 736, 738 High Street.
I have hold all the way down because we're not there to look at, other than the fire department, anything else. It's way beyond what we're asked to do.
At our last meeting, when we were going through all the different criteria, we cut out combining with other projects as a factor. And so if we've cut it out as a road, then I don't think we have to look at it
Right.
this way. So we're sort of eliminating that as an option. Town-owned property behind 736, 738. Of everything sent to me, no change. This one has a lot of holds, so I sort of defer how you want to handle this one. This is acquiring unidentified property on High Street.
We haven't found an identified property as of this date. If we get one, as you know, the warrant article is going to allow us to look at it. We haven't been offered one by a current property holder that works. And we've had some suggestions of other properties from people who don't live there, but we haven't found one, and Molly just went through the ones that we know about. So if somebody else comes up with a property that's gonna be worth our looking at, we can add that, and the warrant article take that into consideration.
Chances are one property's up.
Yeah, the one property, for example, that was referred to us way early in the game that I looked at with the property owner, and he and I agreed it was not appropriate, would have meant taking an additional 2 properties, and that didn't make sense.
And then smaller station at 637 High Street with a 3rd station at University Ave. This is another one where mostly is a lot of holes.
Because we're really only looking at High Street. We do know that at some point in the future, because of response times, we're going to have a substation down at University Ave, but we're not talking about a substation where we are now. We're talking about I call it a base station. I don't know if
a headquarters.
Headquarters, and that's an entirely different need. So,
and I mean, smaller is if it's at the same site. I think we've all said multiple times it will be a smaller station at 637. And if a substation down the line happens at University Ave, it would be just that of a small substation. So, okay.
We're not looking just for a fire station, we're looking for the headquarters.
Exactly.
That's exactly
right. It has
right.
to be able to accommodate headquarters related stuff. So my plan with this is just by taking notes through this whole time, I'll clean it up and then put all of this on the website. It's sort of, I think our original one is up there, and so this will be version 2, so they're both out there.
Another follow-up question that came from our conversation last week, and then in a subsequent conversation with another resident regarding the idea of grading out the current location to make that flatter, and the initial response from I think it was Mike was prohibitively expensive, which I agree with. But I do think we should push this a little bit more. Would the cost of doing that be included?
In feasibility,
Okay,
schematic,
so it
for
is
sure,
included. Okay,
100%.
good, perfect.
You gotta also look at the aesthetics. If you're gonna bring the grade all the way over.
Right.
It's gonna look like a concrete castle.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
Yeah.
And that's what schematic design is
30
for, is to show you
Yeah.
what it would look.
But you need to do a schematic design to understand that.
Yeah, no, the concern was that just saying, oh, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Some like, well, let's have
Oh, no, we're
experts tell us that.
Whoever is hired to do feasibility and schematic will definitely.
That's why it's so important to get a yes at town meeting, to be able to look at these things. So, in just looking at the present site, if you need to do that. Yeah. And if you don't get the yes, then we're sort of back to the beginnings.
So this may kind of segue into our conversation that we're going to talk about shortly, the town communications, but given some of the concerns that were raised in this meeting, but by others, is like, well, why aren't we just redesigning it? I think it needs to be made clear that part of feasibility for the existing site is part of that, getting to a point like, can this be redesigned?
Yeah.
Now, what I'm hearing is that's unclear to a lot of people.
Yes.
Like, I don't get it. Why can't we just redesign this?
Yep.
And so there's a disconnect there, and being like, we're getting to that. That's the whole point of
Yes.
doing. The second thing I'd say, if we've already done feasibility for the existing site, it probably makes sense to me to stop calling it feasibility for the existing site. So maybe feasibility for the other two, but schematic for the current site, making clear like, well, we've already done feasibility. That's why we go to the first time. Does that make sense? Sorry, I was kind of.
I got you.
That's a good point. Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Jody brought up a good point last time, and she's not here, but it's in the recording.
You're giving the credit, you're good.
She had said that most of the other municipalities don't have to have a variance for a fire state for a particular. And last year we had a warrant article on the town articles that got taken down to put us in that same realm. So for a fire station, a police station, for anything public safety, you wouldn't have to get the variances because the road has already been written. The book has been written, the road's been paved, there's street lights on it. Anybody that doesn't like a fire station in their neighborhood, they're gonna go, if there's any variances, they can appeal the variances, right, from the zoning board of appeals. And that could take up to 3 years in land court before a decision comes up, which is gonna put us, ridiculously down the line. Is there any way we can recommend to the select board, which means tonight you're going to put that back on the warrant article for this year? And people decided
I don't think it's appropriate to put on an article of that magnitude this late in the cycle. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be done ever, if we want to do it in the fall when we come back to do an actual project. But I think that is a big conversation that warrants a lot of conversations, and I would be hesitant to put it on the night before the FinCom's final public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my.
Well,
feeling.
it'll just add to more
Yeah.
controversy
Right.
because it's hard for people to understand these things.
Well, I know, but it's to the point of timing. We're meeting almost weekly so that we can get this in time.
Yep.
To know that someone can stall it for 3 years
Yeah.
is kind of like.
And it might, so before us in May is just feasibility and schematic, right? And so the hope would be sometime in the fall to have a town meeting to say, all right, the town has decided this is the site that we're gonna do, this is what we need to get that done, design funding, construction funding, potential zoning changes or variances, and have one big bill, one big beautiful bill is what came to mind, and say, all right, pass all of these things as one thing.
Yeah.
In order, yeah,
Don't go there.
we'll pick a different name. These are all the things that would have to get done in over an omnibus. We'll call it an omnibus. Yeah. So I don't think, I'm not shutting down the conversation of it. I just don't want to put it on this.
Yeah, the timing wise,
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to play for it.
We're
Pushing something along.
no, it's just something that clicked
That's good.
last week when
Yeah.
it was Jody's idea. I love.
Thank you, Bob.
I would also like to know how many municipalities actually have that in place.
And we did that research last year. I can find that because when we put it forward for town meeting last year.
We all set with that? Yeah. Next is on the agenda for new business is communications update, and Sarah Kentley and Harry Davis. I'm going to ask you to lead that. And we're starting that process of a really what I would call an education process. Trying to give as much information so people can make their decision at the town meeting.
Absolutely. So we met with Laura Hayes and Molly last week, putting together a comprehensive communications plan in order to reach all residents. So a couple of the highlights of there are development and deployment of press releases. One was released this morning. So you'll see that across all the different platforms that the town is sharing about it. Ongoing communications via social media. I don't know if anybody is on Facebook or Instagram, but Laura's been doing a really amazing job increasing our presence there. If, for example, last week there was a post on what is a feasibility and schematic design and what does that look like. So she'll be doing more of that over the next couple months.
That came out really well. I hope
Yes.
people are looking at that because it's very well done.
So that'll include FAQs, it'll include dispelling rumors around town, it'll include a lot of really good information. So encouraging all residents to spread that and to share the word that that is a priority. We're working on a development of a flyer that can be distributed in person that has some high level information on what we're going to do, what the plan is, and then driving people to our website for more information. We have discussed putting together some informal community meetups where people can come and ask questions, maybe share their thoughts, having those maybe a couple over the next 6 weeks where different times of day so that people can kind of come. Goal would be, and something we want to talk to the committee about, having at least 2 committee members present at each one of those meetings, kind of divide and conquer there. And then finally, Molly and Laura have been working on rescheduling the public forum before town meeting, ideally, as well as a mailer that will be sent out to all families about the article that's going on to town meeting. Okay.
For the Instagram, do you have to sign up for the fire station Instagram or is it
It's the town of Westwood.
Town of Westwood?
Town of Westwood Instagram.
So if you're not, if you haven't signed up to the
So
Instagram,
follow them.
you have to follow. Can we put that on our,
Website?
Yeah.
I think you can take a step back. Sometimes it sounds so basic, but we all take for granted, like, oh, on social media. I'm sure some residents don't even know what social media channels the town utilizes, right? So if it's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, the 3, right?
Yeah.
There could be a handful of people like, I don't even know what that, like, where do I even start on social media? But even just like promoting that, like, here's what we mean by social media.
And everything we're doing is really on the town website. So, if we can get people to go to the town website, we have a new page on the website dedicated to FS1 and what we're doing. And people need to go to that just to learn what the issues are. Also, each one of us really needs to reach out by your own emails, by your own contacts. For example, you all know that I'm living in Fox Hill on next Monday. I'm going to be talking to the residents that are there, and usually get about 100 people, so I'll be talking to them. I'll be doing that at the end of the month. Again, they've asked me to do that. So I think, we can reach out to the people that we know. And, it's not a sales job. It's just educating the information that we have so they can make up their mind what makes the most sense to move this project further. And that's really what we're talking about, is just moving it further down the road rather than stopping it.
will there be a QR code?
And we're looking at either the 15th of April or the 29th for the community forum. And our plan is to have it at the fire station in the tent that is being delivered next week.
When is April vacation?
The week of the 20th.
The one
So
in
we're not
between
that
those.
week.
Not that, just checking.
I got you. Keep going, Justin.
On that note, I think disseminating information is great, and I mean that's a key component, right? But I think most residents would say that I got it. The fire station's falling apart. We need a new fire station, right? So I don't think we need to, I don't want to say prioritize, but I think the bigger issue is addressing those more subjective things. Like, but I want to provide my feedback and I want to express my concerns.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the 3 kind of
I
informal,
agree.
call what you want, coffee sessions, kind of chat, as well as the big community forum are going to be essential, because I think people need to feel like, hey, I can talk to someone. I don't need a website to go get the facts and the breakdown that the fire station's falling apart. I think that's going to be the key component.
I think coming at it
frankly,
from all functions.
yeah, frankly, probably where the town fell short a little bit of giving those forums, whether or not people take up on them or not, but just making sure they're like, hey, there's literally live human beings here you can come talk to make your feelings known. I think will be key.
Anything else?
And they do have, office hours now, right? Doesn't Connor read?
Connor and the select board,
And the select board, so people can go to that as well.
and they've been going, talking about this.
Okay. So in accordance with the select board's policy on public talking to us, being able to talk, I'm gonna say to those that are here and those that are online, if they have any questions or requests for clarification of what we discussed on the 2 agenda items, please do so. We do have the ability to help you with some answers, but this is not a time for discussion or going back and forth. So is there anybody in the room that would like to make a comment or have a question?
Just a quick question, you're doing programs.
Please identify yourself. I'm sorry.
That's it. You're gonna have this matrix posted, an updated matrix posted by when?
I'll hope to get it done today, but if I don't get it done today, then tomorrow.
And that will go on all the websites around town for everybody to see?
It'll go on the FS1 steering committee's website, and
Will all those other towns be able to direct people back, at least make them aware of it, where they can see this and
Like, put it- yes.
kind of do their own
Yeah.
voting on it as
Yes.
well? Thank you.
Anyone else?
Voting.
Done? Anybody online?
What do you mean voting?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have
Own voting.
Oh, we want to do a poll around town as well to see if that, if this is a Q&A, we'd like, as a butters, I'd like to weigh in around my neighborhood to see if people have the same opinion on this scale as your committee.
And just a point of,
name and address,
I'm sorry, Alice Smith, 78 Bay
Thank
Street.
you.
I just wanted to make sure that I was understanding. I'm still new to the matrix, so the rating system of 1 is less desirable than a 5.
Yes.
Okay,
And there's a key
There's a key on it.
that will,
Okay.
it's not on that version, the key got cut off on that one, but that will be on the one that gets posted.
okay.
And there's a multiplier.
Yeah.
Like.
And remember the matrix,
Multiply, so if it's a
Okay.
5 times 3, it gives it 15 minutes.
We do.
the matrix is a work in progress. It's not going to be done until after we've done the schematic and all that work, and that's when it will be done. But the matrix isn't the only decision that we're basing this on. It's also going to be, can we get access to High Street? And so we have the matrix they're looking at. We're also looking at having access to High Street. That is absolutely critical. So we could have a matrix that's leading in one direction, but we can't get access to High Street. So that will lead to the final decision in another place. So I think that's very important that everybody understand. It's not just the matrix. It's taking a look at access to High Street and the cost. I mean, cost is also the other thing. So we are a long way from, people, I'm hearing some people say, oh, they've made a decision. We are a long way from making a decision on this process. That would probably be done by early fall at best.
Board, can I just say one thing? I hear loud and clear on the idea for a survey. I like it. We call pulse surveys. We call them pulse surveys at work, right? It's like quick kind of act, like where are people thinking about this? I like the idea. Sarah and I are responsible for communications, kind of a subcommittee. So we'll take this as an action item to maybe talk how this might be executed.
That'd be great, thank you.
Okay. Anything anybody said in here? And online?
Something online.
That's Laura. There's gonna be a QR code.
Oh,
Ah. Thank you, Laura.
To answer John's question, any printed materials would include a QR code. Bless you. Anyone else? If not, okay. Approval of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes. They were sent out, right?
Yes.
First is March 9. I'll accept the motion to approve.
Hold on.
First.
Excuse me,
Allison.
Allison.
There are 2 edits for the March 9th minutes. The edit is to include the time of adjournment for the meeting. So the last sentence will
Yeah.
say, the meeting adjourned at 10:30. On March 16th minutes, there are 2 edits. The first one is to add the adjournment time at the very end, where the meeting adjourned at 10:37 a.m. The second edit is within the final paragraph. The sentence that includes members clarified that the committee's intent is not to engage in commercial development, but rather to identify sites where surplus land might be sold to adjacent businesses and or private residences to help offset the cost of land acquisition for the town. So we're adding private residents.
So for March 9, I'll accept the motion to approve.
That we accept the minutes as amended on March 9th meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I'll poll the board. Ken Ayers?
Yes.
Peter Bean?
Yes.
Sarah Cantley?
Yes.
John Cummings?
Yes.
Harry Davis?
Hugh. Yes.
Paul Delay? And I, Ford Spalding, am a yes. Next are the minutes of March 16.
I'd like to
26.
make a motion that we accept the amended minutes for March 16th.
Second. Any discussion? I'll poll the committee. Ken Ayers?
Yes.
Peter Bean?
Yes.
Sarah Cantley?
Yes.
John Cummings?
Yes.
Harry Davis?
Yes.
Paul Delay, and I, Ford Spalding. Is there any other business to be brought before the committee? If not, our next meeting is scheduled for April 6th. For right now, let's keep it, but maybe during the week, we might, if we don't need it, we can move it. So let's take a look at it for a week and see. It's getting near town meeting, so it may be a very good idea to have it. It may be brief, but do that. So I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
That meeting be here.
It'll be here, same format.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Poll the committee. Ken Ayers?
Yes.
Peter Bean?
Yes.
Sarah Cantley? John Cummings?
Yes.
Harry Davis?
Yeah.
Paul Delay, and I, Ford Spalding. Thank you all, and thank you all for coming.
Thank you.